Hello, and welcome in. It has been a minute since I recorded a podcast. I took a little break and I am back. I'm going to be more diligent about producing a podcast once a week and keep this going again. I had a lot that happened in 2024, and my last podcast was me recovering from meniscus surgery that I had. And so that kind of put me off my game for a little bit because I was dealing with recouping from that, and it didn't really go as they said it would. And such is life, right? You make your plans, and then, there's something else that goes on with that. And then there was actually a silver lining in it because as I was recovering from that meniscus surgery and trying to figure out what was going on with me, I actually came across an opportunity to start another business. And so I honed in on that as well. And I put my podcast on hold for a little bit to just get that off the ground. I did a lot of research related to it. And, I'm super excited about it because my podcast and my blog and the essence of my business is Nancy Be Inspired, which is to inspire people to live their best lives. And I've been doing that for, all my life, really. I've inspired people just by being myself and really encouraging people to step outside of their comfort zone and do what resonates with them. But it was more magnified when I became a Zumba instructor, and I taught from 2013 until, last year when I had to have my knee surgery. So for a long time, I helped people in the gym, and I saw the benefits of that were just incredible. And I saw people, really come into themselves and get some confidence, things that, they probably thought they couldn't do without a community. And so that was really valuable to me. And that's why Nancy Be Inspired, Live Your Best Life is truly the foundation of my business. And I started another business, which is Best Life Photo Booth, which is a photo booth business designed to capture, images of people living their best life. So that's my other business that I have kicked off the ground, and, it's doing really well. And so that actually gets me out into the community again, because I thought with my knee surgery, I didn't know if I would ever be able to go back into the gym and teach at the level that I used to teach. And, I wanted a backup plan for myself and a way to serve the community with, still my passion for helping people live their best lives. And so for me, the photo booth business was actually an opportunity for me to get out in the public with people again. And, I took thousands of images of people in the gym. I mean, we were all, if I look at it this way, if I was able to get sweaty people, and I mean sweaty people, to pose for the camera, and be happy about it and like the way that they looked, I thought, well, how, I know I can do it in the photo booth business because, I could do it with sweaty people, which is really a hard thing to do. I got people to actually enjoy fitness and enjoy sweating and enjoy that community. So for me, it was a perfect and easy alignment to go down that path. But I did a lot of homework. I did a lot of research about the business, about the industry. I wanted to niche down and have a target audience for my business. It's very exclusive, and it is a very high-end business, right? It's very exclusive to premier venues and premier, events, whether it's weddings or, corporate events, and also to enhance people with their business profiles and take a new spin on that isn't out there already. So that's not contrary to my life either, because I am one that loves luxury. I love high-end quality, and, price isn't a problem when, price is only a problem when value is lacking. And I learned that a very long time ago from my mother, who was a tailor who came here from Italy, and she studied fashion and fabric and design. And she always used to say that you get what you pay for. And, you're paying for the designer, you're paying for the level of fabric, and you can get imitations elsewhere, but when you pay the high dollar, you're paying for quality. And I was raised that way. She always used to say, you have one handbag, you have the best handbag that you could possibly afford, but you buy quality, and quality will last. Trends fade in and out, but quality and classics last forever. And so that's very authentic to me. And I started my Best Life photo booth business with that in mind, to really, elevate, the photo booth business, because it's really a business that's out there that is secondary to a lot of other businesses. So I will say that, again, I did my homework, and there are a lot of, people out there who are photographers, or they're, DJs, or they're event party places where you can do rentals, and they just added photo booth as an add-on. Here, you can take it home. You can actually take it home yourself. You can rent it and put it in your place and take the pictures and take it back. So they've really, to me, made it a Walmart type of event, where you can have a metal box, mass produced in China. Everybody has it. They're metal. They could be mirrored. They could be all different kinds of formats, but essentially they're all coming from the one part of the country. They're all mass produced. There isn't really anything special about them. Most of them are iPads. And even if they're not iPads and they have a DSLR in them, their aesthetics are just not conducive to someone who is having a luxury event at a historical venue. And, living in Richmond, we have a lot of that here, right? There's just a lot of history here, and a lot of beautiful places that have a lot of, architectural elements that are classic. And that metal, box with flashing lights and glitter and glitz. Just, I know myself, when I was looking for a photo booth, I just couldn't find one that I would have hired. I just couldn't find one. So I thought, you know what, if I can't find one, I'm just going to build a business for it, because people like me are looking for it. And, I know that eventually, it will, reach the people that actually want it. And it has so far. It's been very well received with clients that I've had here in Virginia. They absolutely love it. I call it the magic box, because it makes everybody beautiful. Truly, I don't care if you're an introvert or an extrovert. Even if you're an extrovert, everybody's usually pretty astonished at the results. And to me, that's the beauty of it, because we're capturing those images and they have it with them for life. And so, not to go off on a tangent about that business, but I'm super excited about it. And that's where I've been, the past, 6-8 months, I guess. I've been down the path of really, pursuing that business and really branding it. And my website's going to launch soon in May 2025. And, there's just been a lot going on with that. And I didn't want to start a business like everyone else. I really wanted to take my time and really understand my client, and really understand how to serve them, and how to change the industry, and how to elevate the industry. Because right now it's just and I'm not saying there isn't a need for what's out there, because there's just that level of people that want the lower end style. It fits their, if you have a DJ, or you have a prom, and you've got like a lot of young people with a lot of, not so much sophisticated, I don't know if background is the right word, but it's not a sophisticated event, then those types of photo booths fit perfectly there. But for me, I didn't want to go after that market. That market is saturated. There's a lot out there, and I didn't want to be another cereal box on the shelf. I wanted to appeal to someone that would be myself, that I was out there looking for something that I couldn't find. And so, another thing that I've done is I created a business that's eco-friendly and sustainable. The booth is made of natural wood. It's handcrafted. It's a piece of art made from wood that comes from a forest that's sustainable. And I don't offer prints. So you think about a photo booth business, you think you're going to walk away with prints, right? But no, not mine, right? And I did my homework. Again, I asked people, I did a lot of surveys, and most people, what do? They instantly want to share it on social media. That's what they want to do. And you think about, if you're at an event, you're at a gala, you're at a wedding, you're having a good time, you've got your cocktail, you go up there, you get your picture taken, and now you got to walk around with your cocktail and your picture And like, I don't want to ruin my picture. Where did I put it? Oh, it got bent. Oh, I can't get another reprint of it. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, it was just one other thing that was not necessary. Like, you don't need to print it. It's digital. It will live in digital space for eternity. And when you want to print it, you can go and print it yourself. And it's not causing a line at the printer booth where everybody's like, oh, I don't know, can you retake it? To me, I was just like cutting out all the hassle. And that is just what I would want. And so I feel like if I had a high-end event, I would not want that chaos happening at my event. I would want it to be very eloquently handled, elegant, and sophisticated. So again, there's purpose with my business and passion behind it, because again, I want to serve the community. And I do a lot of outreach too. I do events to help the community. I have one coming up next month at the YMCA, and it's a 5K. And I'm going to be there to help them raise money for the YMCA there in Northern Virginia in Fredericksburg. So again, that's what I've been doing with my time, just like I did with Zumba. I did charity work for them all the time. I did events free. I showed up at events free. We did a lot of things just to help, make the community better. And really, that's what it is, right? Live your best life. So that's where I've been, but I wanted to, drop another podcast today to just let you know that I'm still around. I am growing and getting bigger in my business, and I'm trying to stay true to who I am. I want to stay true to, defying. I think that is just my Nancy B. Inspired is really about just defying everything in life that they all tell you that you can't do it, but you can do anything that you want to do. And I really want to keep putting out content out here to let you know that you can do whatever it is you want to do. You are not too old. It is not too late. And you can just, do whatever it is you want to do. You just have to take action. And for me, like I said, when I was down with my surgery and I couldn't really get out of my house for weeks, I thought, what am I going to do if I don't resume to the level that I was before? Like, I knew I would get better, but I just didn't know if I would be at the level that I was before. And I really wanted to continue serving people. And I just came across this business that I couldn't let it go. And I feel like that's how God works in our life. He gives us something, a seed in our heart, and we just can't leave it alone. We just keep thinking about it. And, what is the one thing that you've done consistently in your life? Think about that. And then how can you help other people do that thing that you've overcome, just with your journey? For me, it's been defying. I have defied every obstacle that ever came my way. I don't care what it was, from the time I was a young person, a young girl to now, I have defied every single obstacle. And that's what I want to teach people, because I've done it so much that I know that the framework that I use works and it's powerful, and there are no limitations in life. Today is actually Easter Sunday, and I believe in Easter. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the Trinity. And I believe that, Jesus died for all of our sins, and we are here to live life to the fullest because he already was the sacrifice for humanity. He was it. And so, we are gifted by being born and living our life, and we are not to live by the school of the world that has trained us to go against what God's will is for each one of us. And I could go down a rabbit hole there, but it started with our parents did the best they could with us because they were under the same educational system that all of us fell under. We were mandated to go to school, and we were mandated to follow the program, and we were mandated to learn things a certain way. And then you realize that none of that was really true, and that really isn't the way we were intended to live our lives. And that's why some people who go on their own paths and go against that are the ones that become successful. And the rest of the people are like, well, how did they do that? And what's the special secret sauce? And what's the special thing? And really, there is no secret, right? We all have the same power. It's just the self-talk that we have been saying to ourselves for years. And as children, we always ask permission. Can I do this? Can I do that? We were restricted from our freedom, which was part of, learning, right, and understanding right from wrong. but it's spilled over into your creativity. And I'll just say too that, God is the ultimate creator. He created the world one day at a time by his words. And words are very powerful. And so you have to really be mindful of the things that you say and what you believe, and that we are each born under his image, in the image of him, which means we have the power to create too. And we all create with our own fingerprint, with our own style, with our own passion, with our own desires, because those are the seeds that were placed in each one of us. So what works for me might not work for you, and that's okay. So what frustrates me when I look at social media is I see people just copying other people. They think, well, here, and they're selling it too. There are people out there, buy my plan and do my program and sign up for this session and I'll teach you how to do it. And you don't need to do any of that. You just need to take a step and do what's, is good for you. Authenticity doesn't waver. Authenticity doesn't copy. You're not a copy, you're an original. Myron Golden said that, so that's not my quote, it's his, but it's true. We shouldn't be copying anyone. We should just be living in our own lane and doing what feels right for us. And so, just because everyone went to college, or just because everybody got their degree, or just because everyone that does, this job had a degree, doesn't mean you can't do it without a degree. Doesn't mean that you can't learn it yourself. All of us can learn. There's nothing we can't learn, right? Even if you have dyslexia, even if you have a challenge, you can still learn. There's no limit to the brain and what you can, conceptually learn. You can learn anything. There's no limit to that. It doesn't mean that you have to come from a certain, level of class of society or have a certain amount of money to be able to learn. We all can learn. We are the highest form of, the animal kingdom, right? We're humans. We can do that. So I just want to encourage you to step forward and live your true life and live your best life and feel empowered by it. I know that a lot of people are looking to, retire, and what are they going to do when they retire? Or even if you're young, you don't want to work in the workforce. There's a lot of the young generation just doesn't want to go in the workforce and work for, like generations did before them. They want to be entrepreneurs. And I actually, condone that. I think it's wonderful because I feel like they get it. They get that I don't have to follow this path. Like I can create my own destiny by doing the work that resonates with me. And whether that's an artist, it doesn't matter what it is. I think that that's beautiful. I think that there are generations, my generation, people just did what the generations before them did. You go to school, you graduate school, go to college or not go to college, and then you get a job and you work 9 to 5 until you retire. And that's just the way it was. And people that started businesses, they were like outcasts. They were like, well, that was rare. They, whatever. That was in their family, blah, blah, blah. We weren't taught to be entrepreneurs. We weren't taught to be entrepreneurs in school. In school, we were taught to be employees. That's what we were taught. We were groomed to work for others. We were not groomed to be self-empowered. Finance classes weren't taught. How to balance a checkbook wasn't taught. How to be independent, how to be a leader, leadership skills. None of those things were taught. You were taught basic things so that you could be a good employee. And that just really, hurt society. And so, there's a lot of controversy when you speak like I speak, because people think, oh my gosh, there she goes again. It's not normal. And, I'm the outcast, but really, it's really the way that it was meant to be. So I just want you to, if you're feeling stuck in any way, to just really look at what makes you happy and what would you do free and what is in your heart to do it, right? And even if it's art, even if you like to draw and you feel like you're not the best artist, practice makes perfect. I don't care what they tried to change that agenda a few years ago. They tried to change the words, practice makes perfect. And it was, again, to go against liberation, right? Really, practice does make perfect. And the more you practice something, the more you do the 10,000 hours behind the scenes, the more you hone your skills, the better that you get at it, the more that you take care of yourself, your mental health, you take care of your body, you surround yourself with people that lift you up and not bring you down. The more you invest in yourself and take courses to learn and expand your knowledge, it's only going to benefit you. So I just am going to close with saying that I am back to help inspire you to do the things that help you feel satisfied with your life. And, I don't want you to be discouraged if you're older, because you are here for a reason, right? And you are blessed to be here. You're blessed to live your long life. And I feel like those of us who have been around for a while are really here to teach the younger people and even our peers, that there is a reason why we're here. We have a lot to offer society. You can't buy wisdom. You can't buy wisdom. You can't teach wisdom, right? You have it because you earned it. You earned it from living your life. And that's powerful. That is extremely powerful. And if you can take that and share it in a positive way with others where they receive it so that it helps, shortcut their path, there's really nothing better that you can do other than that. So I hope that this podcast inspires you today to take a step forward. It's April, right? We have a long part of the year still left, right? That we could still make a difference. Just set some kind of, I don't know if goal is the word. Myron Golden says he doesn't set goals. He just takes a step forward and then just waits for, it to evolve, and I think that's kind of good, I guess, if you don't have a set goal that it needs to turn out a certain way, because things don't always turn out the way that you want, right? Sometimes you'll get, derailed. And, how strong are you to stay on course even when you do get derailed? Will you get back on it, or will you throw your hands up? So keep, going forward, keep, doing things that serve you and serve the community. How can you help other people with the knowledge and the wisdom that you have from your own journey? Think about that and then take that into action if that's something that you desire to do. And if you don't desire to do it, that's well too, as long as you're satisfied that you're living a full life and you're completely happy, that's wonderful. But the fact that you're here today and listening to me makes me think that you are in a place where you have that little seed that you're thinking, maybe I want to do something and I don't really know if I should, and I don't know if I'm qualified, and all that imposter syndrome language that they throw out there. Just ignore it all, because it's all to keep you back. It's all to hold you back from your greatness. We all are great because we were born. And when you think about how what the odds were against us for even being born, you will realize that you are here. It was a miracle that you were born and you were here to serve and shine, and don't let anybody put out your light. So live your true self, be authentic to yourself, and, leave a comment and let me know how it's working for you. I would love to learn, and I would love to hear your story and bring you on my show so that you can share it with others as well. So thank you again for joining me, and let this inspire you today.